You are able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was asking to Archana, but she was not responding. I thought I am not audible. It's okay. So sharing my screen. Please confirm once it's visible. I guess it's visible, right? Okay. So yesterday we talked about OWD. Okay, that is a part of record level security. We saw public read write, public read only, private, and there is something called as what controlled by parent. Controlled by parent is only available for the retail objects, and we saw how the records access is happening when the OWD of the primary object in MD relationship changes. Okay, so then we talked about manual sharing, and then we talked about public. So public group is nothing but what, group of users, right? And this public group is simply used or created to make easy accessing of records. Okay, so whenever you would like to share the records with multiple users, in that case, rather than selecting every user every time, you will simply select public group, and whoever are the members of that public group, with those users, the records will be shared. So manual sharing is the manual way of sharing the records. Okay. Now let's move to something called as what? Automatic way of sharing records, and that is happening through role hierarchy and sharing rules. Okay. So let's talk about role hierarchy. So first question that comes is what is a role? So role is nothing but what in Salesforce terminology, a role is nothing but a way to to share the records. Okay, so that is only role. So just to give an example, let's say we have VP of human resource, vice president of human resource department. Okay, then let's say we have VP, HR manager. Okay, then let's say we have HR lead. Let's say we have HR executive. So what is VP human resource? What is HR manager? What is HR lead? What is HR executive? These are all different roles. And every user or every employee. So let's say in an organization, we have these different roles. And an employee would be either in this role or in this role or in this role. So role is nothing but what? The way of uh, the way of accessing the network, right? So HR executive, now whenever these roles are there, what is actually happening? This HR executive role is reporting to HR lead. Then HR lead role is reporting to HR manager, and this HR manager role is reporting to HR VP human resource. Okay, so basically this forms the hierarchy of role. So VP human resource is at the top, then HR manager, then lead and executive. Okay, no one reports to executive, so there are many executives, and this role hierarchy depends on the region wise also. So APAC region, Asia Pacific region, or EMEA region, right? Like that. So these are all roles, and this is something called as what? Role hierarchy. Now in Salesforce, uh, OWD says never share records of each other, right? Never share records of each other with each other user. But as I said, there are situations where we need to share the records, okay? Where we need to share the records. So in that case, if you would like to automatically share the record, in that case, the first option we have is what? Create role hierarchy. The first option is what? Create the role hierarchy, right? So now what we will do, the very first thing that you all need to see is what? From where we could create the role hierarchy. So if you go to users, expand users option, here you will find roles option. Okay, so roles. So in this org, there is a sample role hierarchy given. Okay, so understanding roles, set up your role hierarchy to control how your organization reports and access the data. Okay, so I only said access the data. So roles are created to simplify the accessing of data, accessing of records. But there is other use, that is what, reports. So that part we will see at the end. So there is a sample role hierarchy given here. So this role hierarchy is territory based sample. Territory means what? Region based. So let's say there is a western region, eastern region, and international region. So in western region we have sales reps, right? And there is a western sales director. So sales reps will report to director. Okay, this don't think about this arrow, right? So western sales reps represents western sales director, and western sales director reports to CEO, president, CFO, VP, something like that. Similarly, eastern sales reps, eastern sales director, and this one. So this is territory based. Okay, so now if you read here this one, so for reps, what they are saying: view and edit data, roll up forecasts and generate reports only for own data. Okay, so these people, these sales reps people, can access the records created by themselves, so they can generate reports based on their own data. Can't access data of users above or at the same level. So eastern sales reps cannot access data of western sales reps. International sales reps cannot access data of other, because the object onto which they are working, the OWD of that object probably set to private, probably not. It is always set to private, so that these people won't access their own data. Okay. So, sorry, these people won't access others' data. They can access only their own data, right? Now, if you go one level up, that is the director of this international sales director, or this director level. So what these people can do: view and edit data, okay, and generate reports for all users directly below. Okay, so let's say to this director sales international, there are many sales reps are reporting. So let's say there are international 5 sales representative. So all 5 sales representatives data, this director can access, and this director can generate report onto all 5 sales reps data. Whereas this individual sales rep can only access their own data. Whereas director can access all 5 sales reps data. Okay, so what it says, generate reports for all users directly below. Can't access data of users above or at the same level. So sales director at the international level, they cannot access the data of director of Eastern sales or Western sales. They can only access the data of the sales reps who are reporting to them or who are, below their level. Whereas if you go at the top level, view and edit data, roll up forecasts and generate reports for all users below. Can't access data of other executive, staff, right? So what you would be able to understand here by seeing this, that the level up user can access the data of below users, right? Eastern sales director can access all sales reps data. So let's say Eastern sales director has 10 sales representatives. So all 10 sales representatives data, this director can access. Okay. Have you all understood this?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. There is product-based sampling also, sample given, right? Hardware sales reps will represent to VP hardware and VP hardware represents to executive staff. Similarly, company size based. So there is a Fortune 1000, representatives, right? Western Fortune 1000 and Eastern. So they will report to director and they will like this. Now, for our company, this org is created for some company, right? So what an admin has to do in this company, what reporting levels are there? So depending on that, they have to create the roles. So there is a button called as what setup roles. So if you click onto this, so this org name is what training here, and there is only one role that you could see here, that is what CEO, the topmost role. If you expand this CEO role, you will find CFO, CEO, Senior Vice President, Senior Vice President Human Resource, Senior Vice President Sales and Marketing. Okay, so these names you can change and you can add your roles also depending on your organization. Okay, now what we will do, we have 2 users with us only. One is what Vijay Chauhan, the other one is what the Kumar, right? So firstly, what we will do, this is the human resource role, Senior Vice President Human Resource role. So if I expand this, there is nothing below that. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. So once you say hierarchy, what does it mean? CFO, CEO, and all these senior vice presidents reports to CEO. Reports to CEO. So what does it mean? Whatever data that is generated by Senior Vice President Human Resource, that data is accessible to CEO, the level up. Okay, if there are multiple SVP Human Resources based on region, they won't be able to access each other's data, but CEO would be able to access all Human Resource Vice President's data. Okay, so what we will do, we will create one more role here below this. Okay, so before that, let me go to setup. Let me open setup. So before that, let me show you users and their role. So if we expand this users option, if we click onto users, so you will find these are all users in this org. And are you able to see this role column here?
Yes.
Role. So currently to this user, to no user, there is no role assigned. Okay, so 𝗂𝘀𝘀 belongs to custom HR profile, and this Kumar belongs to this system administrator profile. Okay, so profile doesn't matter here. Mostly all HR people will belong to custom HR profile. Common sense, right? But what is their role? So what we will do? We will put 𝗂𝘀𝘀 in senior vice president role, right? And Mr. Kumar in some other role. So firstly, let us create some role. Okay, so below human resource, there is an add role link. So let's click on here and we would be able to create a new role. So whatever role that you are going to create, what it says, this role reports to senior vice president human resource. Okay, so what is the label? So let's say, HR manager, whatever. Okay, so especially we should create VP human resource, because VP human resource might be reporting to SVP. So it's okay. So I'll create VP human resource. This one, VP human resources. Okay. So the role name is what, this one. Role name as displayed on reports. It's okay. So we created one role. So let's click on save. And now, if you see, these are the details of VP human resource role. Okay. So VP human resource role coming under SVP human resource. This is coming under CEO, right? And in this role, currently there are no users. So users in VP human resource role. So there are currently no users. Okay. So what we can do, we can click on to assign users to role. Or if you would like to create a new user, you can create a new user also. So let's click on assign users to role. And which user you would like to put in this role. Okay, so VP human resources. So here, currently available users search VP human resource. Currently there are no users, so I'll select all users here, right? And I'll select 𝗂𝘀𝘀. Sorry, I'll put Kumar in this role. So you could imagine that Kumar is, see on the right side, VP human resource role is selected. So Kumar belongs to this particular role, VP human resources role. And just click on to save. So once you save, you would be able to see that Kumar is in this VP human resource role. Now what is the next job? Let's put 𝗂𝘀𝘀 in this role, SVP human resource. So let's click on to SVP human resources role here. So this is senior vice president human resources role. Assign users to role. So let us select all users. And let's put 𝗂𝘀𝘀 in this role. So later on, I'll remove that. Save. So if you see the role hierarchy now, the 𝗂𝘀𝘀 is senior vice president. So if you see the role hierarchy, set of roles. So we have VP human resource and we have senior vice president human resource. Okay. So you could assign some user in this by going to this view also. So there is an assign link. So if you click onto assign link, you can assign some user in this role. Okay. So this is the option we have. So if you click onto VP human resources, Kumar is the VP human resources, and Mr. 𝗂𝘀𝘀 belongs to senior vice president human resources. So we created the role hierarchy. Does it make sense, all of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now once this role hierarchy is created, so here we actually created senior vice president, and let me create one here, and that is what, vice president human resources. So Mr. Kumar belongs to this Kumar user, and this Vijay Chauhan belongs. Okay, so once this role hierarchy is created, what's gonna happen automatically? Any record created by this user or any records access that this user has, from the below users, those records will be automatically shared with the SVP human resource. All of you are getting this point?
Yes.
I repeat, any record which is accessible to this user, that record will be automatically shared with this user, because this is the role hierarchy. So if you see now, so if we go to what is that, HR recruiting application, and if we go to positions tab, right, the OWD of position object is private. So Java developer, senior Java developer. So these records are accessible to Vijay Chauhan, because yesterday we shared in a manual way, right? Finance manager is a record created by Vijay Chauhan itself. So that is his own record. So that is anyhow accessible to him. But sales executive record, we didn't share manually yesterday, right? But that record will be automatically shared now. So let's log in with Vijay Chauhan, login.salesforce.com, and we have Vijay.Chauhan 1969. Here we have since this is incognito window, there is no point. Okay, so Vijay Chauhan logged in, and click on the positions tab. Now you will see that the sales executive record is also now shared. Have we shared it in some way? No. So Vijay Chauhan now able to see all the records. Now if we create a new record, so let's say now this is Kumar's login. So let us create a new record, new position record. Let's say non-technical, and here we'll say tax consultant, right? Here we say tax related tasks. What is the status? Status is, let's say, new. Substatus, let's say, pending. Department, we have finance. Sales grade is what, 200, right? And probably this date open will create problem for us. No, it got created, no problem. Okay, so this record got created. So since there is a role hierarchy created, this tax consultant record is automatically shared. So let's say if you go here, now this is Vijay Chauhan's login we have, and if we click on to positions tab, you will find tax consultant record automatically shared. Have you all understood the role hierarchy?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Now any user above Vijay Chauhan will also get access to these records. Will also get access to these records. The only thing is what, that user belongs to some profile. That profile has access to position object. Okay. So if let's say there is some user, so if you see the role hierarchy here, okay, if you see the role hierarchy, so above VP human resource, above SVP human resource, there is CEO. Okay, so if you put some user in the CEO role, that CEO that user will get access to all the records of SVP human resource. All the records of SVP human resource. The only thing is what the user in that role, in that CEO role, should have access to those objects and should belong to some profile which should provide access to those objects and records. That's the only thing. Perfect. So this is simple stuff. Nothing difficult in this. So this is what role hierarchy. Okay. So basically, role hierarchy, is created to provide access. Created to provide access to records, in vertical direction. Right? So what does it mean? It means that this record sharing is happening in vertical direction, correct? And if you go to manual sharing, so what manual sharing says, it says manual sharing allows or allow share records, right? Flexible, right? So you could share records to any user as per your own choice. So it's a flexible way of sharing the records. Okay, so that is what manual sharing is all about. Now the last option of sharing records is what? Sharing rules. Okay, the last option is what? Sharing rules. So this is again one automatic way of sharing the records. So sharing rules. Okay. So sharing rules. Now we can disable this role hierarchy. We can disable this role hierarchy. Means sharing of records through role hierarchy we could disable. Okay, so whenever you create this role hierarchy, by default that role hierarchy is enabled. So from where we could disable this role hierarchy? Okay, so let me duplicate this setup tab and let's go to sharing settings. Can anyone tell what we would be able to see by using this option, sharing settings? So sharing setting option shows OWD, organization by default. And are you able to see the last column here? Grant access using hierarchy. Right? Okay, so if you scroll and go to the position objects role hierarchy. So see, against position object, there is a checkbox here. So what this checkbox says, this check mark says that allow position objects records to be shared through role hierarchy. Okay, so let's disable this. Let's click on edit. So we don't want to share records through role hierarchy. So for position object, I'll uncheck this.